Now, the question is, Anna's question is, what happens after this? Sorry, I ran out of space. So we continue, right? What happens after this? Anyone knows? So, 1,000 years, Satan will be cast where? Now, let's look at the Bible. When God sent fire, what happened to Satan? Now, let us read chapter 20, Revelation 20, verse 10. Let's read what happened to the devil. Let's read. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever. So, at the end of this 1,000 years, God says that all three of them, who are the three of them? Let's look at the Bible. There are three. One is called the beast. Two is called false prophet. Okay, and then the third one, the devil. Devil, beast, and false prophet. The devil will join them there. Cornelius, what is this called? It's called lake of fire. Is lake of fire hell? The lake of fire is not hell. Now let's look at Revelation chapter 20. Now can we read verse 11 to verse 14? Please read. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And the books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead, which were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead, which were in it. And death and hell delivered up the dead, which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their work. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. The description here is this, alright? All look. Now, what happens at this point? God says that at the end of 1,000 years, devil, beast, false prophet cast into hell, cast into the lake of fire. What else is cast into here? Hell is also cast into the lake of fire. Okay? Now, remember I said there is this person here. He's the unbeliever, right? When will the unbeliever be raised up? The Bible describes here. At the end of 1,000 years, God says there will be a great white throne. We read. Great white throne. God will sit on the great white throne and He will judge those that are dead. These people who do not believe in God, at this time, at the end of the 1,000 years, they will be raised up in their body for judgment. Understand that? They will be raised up in their body for judgment. When are we raised up? When are we raised up? We are raised up here, right? They are dead, the unbelievers raised up at the great white throne judgment at the end of how long? End of 1,000 years. Then they will be judged and they will be cast into the lake of fire forever. Yes, Noah?
Is the lake of fire endless?
Is the lake of fire endless? I think so. It's a lake of fire. And God does not describe how endless, but every unbeliever that have lived are going to be in here. Together with the devil, the beast, and the false prophet. Okay? Now, so this is what's going to happen. So what is this judgment called? The Great White Throne. Great White Throne. Okay, let's look at the Bible again. Revelation chapter 20. Let's read verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. If you do not believe in Jesus Christ, your name will not be written in the book of life. You will be cast into the lake of fire forever and ever. Okay? Anna, does it answer your question? No. What about after this? After this, what happened? Look. Let's look at Revelation chapter 21. Hey, wait. You know how this judgment happened here? They describe everything will fly away, fade away. The people will just float. They can't hide anywhere. Alright? They can't hide anywhere. Now, let's read at verse 21. What happens after all this? Let's read together chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Alright, and now what's going to happen here? Everyone, what's going to happen here? After unbelievers, great white of throne of judgment, after unbelievers is cast into lake of fire, from there onwards, what will happen? It's called the new what? New heaven and new earth. New heaven and new earth. From here onwards begins new heaven and new earth. Cornelius, how does what is faith? What is not in the new heaven and new earth? No sea. No sea. No sea. Why no sea? Why no sea? I don't know. Alright, but God says, how will it look like? New heaven and earth? No sea. Yes.
If like they are like Christians from different countries, and they all are on the new earth, and they are from different countries, so they speak different languages. Then how will everybody communicate?
Okay, so Noah's question is, there will be people from different continents, different countries. They speak different languages. How will they communicate? Now that's a very good question. Who wants to try and answer? Xing Yun. God will enable. God does not describe some of these things. Maybe we'll all... Can God suddenly make all of us speak the same language? Can God make us suddenly all speak the different language? God did that. So maybe God will make all of us speak the same language. Or maybe God will make us all speak different language, but we can understand different languages also. I don't know. Bible doesn't say that, but it's a good question. Okay, answer your question? So, it will be new heaven, new earth. The only one city, so no sea. No sea. No sea. But there's one place. Will there still be Mount Pleasant? Will there be Applecross? Will there still be wherever? But we know there's one place that will still be called the same name. Revelation 21, verse 2. Let's read together. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God, out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. So we know there is still a place called Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem. It will float down from heaven. Okay? Now then we all live happily ever after. Now, was it Faith or Jesse that asked? Why? No. Okay, that is Maggie. So I won't answer the question yet. Okay, so please remember. Any questions about this? If not, we move to the next question. Yes, Xing Yuan.
What happens? Is there still church during the Great Tribulation?
Okay, the question is, cannot recognize anything anymore. Hey, by the way, I asked you a question and see whether you can answer. Now, before I answer that question, I ask a question. So remember, now, there is the 1,000 years, there's 7 years, right? 7 years. Then we rapture here, right? Those that are dead will rise. Now, this is the New Testament. If just say Moses, where is Moses now? His body is somewhere, right? God says God buried him. So say this is Moses. I don't know how Moses looked like. Moses wear mantle, okay? Moses, all right? Moses. What will happen to Moses? He's an Old Testament person. Elim, what do you think? When will Moses, pastor, will immediately join my body in heaven, right? Moses also buried somewhere. We don't know where. What will happen to Moses? He's an Old Testament person. What do you think so? Moses will? Same. Moses, like me. No, Moses more disintegrated than me. Alright? Moses more rotten than me because he's buried a long time ago, right? Moses' body, at this point, the Bible calls this the rapture. It's also called the first resurrection. Understand that? It's called the first resurrection. First resurrection is all believers. Old Testament, New Testament saints who die and are buried will be resurrected. Old and New Testament people resurrected at the same time. Okay, so now your question. What's your question?
Yeah, is there any church doing
Oh, okay. So the question is, will there now church, right? Because every single true believer will be raptured already, right? Church will be empty of true believers. Will there still be church in these 7 years? That's your question, right? Will there still be church? No. Christ came to receive his bride. Remember, let's see who paid attention. I began by saying, now we are the church age, right? We temporarily what? Xing Yuan. The church temporarily, Jaslyn, the church temporarily, now the church age, the church temporarily, no pay attention. Yes. Very good. The church now temporarily replaced Israel, correct? Why do I say temporary? Because at this time, Israel will now be the witness on earth. No longer the church. Now the church is the witness for God on earth. Temporary. At this point, Israel will take over the witness. So in that sense, there's no New Testament church in that sense. Okay, answer your question?
话语词的。
Now, someone asked what is the difference between psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs.
有人说诗章、颂词、灵歌有什么不同？
Someone also asked, can we just have instrumental music?
有人说我们只要乐器的音乐就行就好。
Can we
可以吗
worship God with instrumental music?
我们单单用乐器的音乐来敬拜神就好，可以吗？